If you're feeling stressed, overwhelmed, under the weather all the time, it may be because you're holding on to too much clutter. And that can be in the form of mental clutter, digital clutter, your computer, your devices, and even physical clutter. All of those things can really hinder you from moving forward. So if you want to get your life back on track, get back on your feet, continue watching this video for a 3-step process that's going to show you how to quickly and easily get your life back together. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Mom Boss Monday, where I share weekly tips and videos on how to be more productive so that you can get work done and enjoy life too. And today we're talking all about getting your life organized. So if you feel stuck in this rut, like there's no inspiration to create anything, there's no motivation to do things, it's because you are holding on to too much baggage. All this stuff really can weigh you down and stop you from moving forward. You cannot expect new things to come into your life. You can't expect new creativity, new ideas, new inspiration, motivation even to come into your life if there's no room for it. That's what getting organized is all about. Just getting rid of all the old stuff, all the old thoughts, all the old paper clutter. Even digital stuff can get cluttered, so getting rid of all of that to make room for the new stuff. That's what it's all about. And I know that it's a hard project to undertake depending on where you are in your life right now. Your life can be totally out of control, or it can be just a little out of control. Whatever the case, I know that sometimes it's hard to even get started. You're like, where do I even begin? How do I even get started getting my life back on track and getting organized? So I wanted to just keep it as simple as possible. I broke down the video into 2 parts. Today's part is going to be 3 steps to getting your life organized. And next week's video, which will be part 2 to this one, is going to be about how to maintain that organized lifestyle in the long run. So it's going to be 7 daily habits you can do every single day to maintain your life organized, so you don't have to wait until it's like completely out of control. Before we jump into the video though, if you're new to this channel, hello and welcome. I'm Sandra and I'm here on this channel every single week on Mondays and Thursdays, so make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you can join us for the next one. Alright, here we go. Step number 1 is to declutter everything, and this is the longest step, so bear with me here. Chances are, if you're feeling this way, stuck in your life like we talked about, it's because you're holding on to too many things that you don't need, that don't serve a purpose. You're holding on to things just in case you need them in the future, when you probably never will, and they're just taking up precious space and your life isn't flowing the way it should because of it. So that's things like email newsletters, YouTube channels, all these things you're subscribed to that are no longer relevant in your life. Physical clutter that you don't need, that you're never going to use. Before you even begin to organize anything, you need to get rid of these things that don't even deserve your attention to begin with. So here is the magic golden rule that we're going to keep in mind as we go through this entire process. If it doesn't serve a purpose, if it doesn't spark joy, if you are not going to use it within the next year, get rid of it, get it out of your life. So that's the magic rule, the golden rule that we're going to be keeping in mind. We're going to be dividing this process into 3 different categories just to make it simple. And the first category is physical clutter, of course, and that includes your rooms, your closets, your drawers, your kitchen, your cabinets, all these shoes, clothes, paperwork, spices, kitchen utensils. Every single room in your home needs to be decluttered. Go ahead and evaluate what you have in there. Are you ever going to use any of that stuff? Get rid of, donate, or sell whatever you're not using. And the second category is digital devices. Even though you cannot see this digital clutter, it really has the same effect on you as physical clutter does. It will overwhelm you and your devices. They'll work slower if you have too much stuff in there. So look through all the programs you have, any apps and documents, all of those things. Look through all of that and delete everything that is unnecessary. And then the other thing with the digital device is your email. While you're there on your computer, go ahead and go to your email and unsubscribe from any newsletter that you don't want to hear from anymore. Maybe at one point you were interested in something and now you're not, so why keep receiving those emails? If you're subscribed to too many newsletters at this point, there's a service you can use called unroll.me, and that would just make it easier and faster for you to unsubscribe to a lot of email newsletters at one time. So make sure to use that to save time. And on your phone, also, go ahead and delete any excess photos you have, any apps, any messages that you don't need anymore. Go ahead and delete all of that. It's gonna make you just feel lighter. You may not believe it, but it really will, and it will just make your devices run smoother as well. So, and while you're on your phone, go ahead and go to your social media apps, every single one that you use, and unsubscribe, unfollow, unfriend anyone who is no longer relevant in your life. Maybe you subscribed to YouTube channels long ago when you were interested in a topic, but you're not anymore. So go ahead and get all of that out of your life. Social media is already distracting as it is, so just make your life a little easier by keeping your feed clear of stuff that you don't want to see, stuff that's not relevant to you anymore. And the last category is your mind. Just like digital devices, how you can't see that clutter, you can't see all the stuff that's caught up here in your mind, but you can sure feel it. If you're feeling stressed out, overwhelmed, uncertain a lot of the time, you're having difficulty making decisions, it's probably because your mind is way too cluttered with all kinds of ideas and thoughts and emotions that need to be expressed. A good first step to this is to grab a sheet of paper and do a massive brain dump. That means that you're just going to sit down for about 30 minutes and write down whatever comes to your mind. Whatever, just let it flow. Don't worry about writing it perfectly, writing it eloquently, whatever, just get it all out on that paper. This is for your eyes only. Any ideas that you have, any emotions that you've been experiencing, anything that's giving you a hard time, any epiphanies, business ideas, inspiration, insights, whatever comes to your mind, just write it down. When you do that, when you get everything out of your head and put it on a paper, you are laying it all out on the table, and it just makes it so much easier to manage it moving forward. But right now, we're not worrying about organizing anything. That's for the next step. For now, just let it all flow out. And I know that this step number 1, decluttering everything, was the longest part of the process. And if you have a lot of mental, physical, and digital clutter, it's probably going to be even longer for you. And I know it's also the hardest because sometimes it's difficult to give up things. It's difficult to know whether we want to keep it in our lives or not, because we always have this FOMO in the background, fear of missing out on something. But just try to keep the magic rule in mind. If it doesn't spark joy, if it doesn't serve a purpose, if you're not using it within the next year, just get rid of it. It won't serve you. It's going to block you instead. And don't feel the need to do this step 1 in one day. You can if you want to, but you can space it out every other day. Maybe do one area a day of your decluttering process, or spread it out over 2 weeks. You can do whatever you want. This is your life. This is your journey. So just do whatever feels right to you. And some progress is always better than no progress at all. So don't let overwhelm get to you about this whole process. Just get started. All right, moving on. Step number 2 is to give everything a home. Now that you've gotten rid of all the useless stuff, it's time to give your attention to the stuff you decided to keep. It's time to give them a permanent home. And again, with the same 3 categories. For your physical items, make sure that you have a key holder right by your door where you will hang up your keys every single time. Then you'll never have to waste hours on looking for them when you lose them. Have a place for your phone. Have a place for your purse, for your bills, for your books, for everything in your home. Give it a permanent home of its own where it will be at no matter what. For your digital devices as well, on your laptop or your computer, you can create folders and subfolders where you will store your digital files and make sure you keep them there every time. It's same thing on your phone. You can group your apps together. So if you want to group all your social media apps into one place, if you want to group all your planning apps into one place, that will make life so much easier because then it'll be easier to find. And then lastly, for your mental clutter, remember that brain dump that you did. Now it's time to give each of those things on that big list a permanent home of its own. So to start, what you have to do is create different categories. It's going to be different for different people, but basically you want a category for each major area of your life. So if you wanted to do a business category, in there you can have lists of things to do, of programs to buy, books to read, of different things to buy for your business. Just make lists that make sense for you. For your personal life, you can have lists of kids activities, errands, projects, meal plans, whatever makes sense for you. And then you're going to look at your big old list of the brain dump that you did and add each item to where it belongs. Now you want to keep your amount of list as short as possible. Just use what you need because you don't want to end up with too many lists and then it gets overwhelming. But if you want to learn more about this whole making lists and organizing your brain dump, make sure to go watch my video, Getting Organized with Evernote. Even if you plan on organizing on paper, this will have a lot of useful tips that you can use, so make sure to watch that after watching this video. The link will be in a card here and also in the description below. And we've made it to step number 3, which is deciding on a maintenance schedule. After going through step 1 and through step 2 of this organizing process, you're going to feel a lot of relief, a lot of weight off your shoulders. But here's the thing, just like with a lot of other things in life, keeping your life organized is not a one-time event. It is a process that's going to go on forever. If you want to maintain those benefits of being less overwhelmed, less stressed, and having more mental clarity, then you need to schedule a time in a day where you will be upkeeping this organized lifestyle. There are 2 ways that you can go about this, and the first way is my favorite way, and that's just doing a weekly review. Every Sunday I sit down and I declutter my devices, I clean my house and take out all the stuff that I don't need and organize the stuff that I'm keeping, and I do this every single Sunday. And then I also have a list of questions that I go through every week so that I can do some self-discovery work and to ask myself what's bothering me and write about it and get everything out of my head. And I've talked about this many times before, so I will link relevant videos down in the description. And if you want the list of 10 questions that I use on the weekly basis, you can grab your copy in the description as well. There will be a link for that. And the second way is to do 15 minutes every day. And this is the best option for those people who are busy out there. If you have a full-time job, a side business, your kids, and all that jazz going on, this is going to be the best option. 15 minutes is not a lot of time. There's less resistance around it, and you can do something every day. Like one day you can do your digital devices. On another day you can do a certain area of your home, and then the next day you can do a mental clearing. It's up to you how you organize it. But if you're going to use this 15 minutes a day, make sure you schedule it into your calendar. Write down what you will be cleaning out each single day, so it's more likely to happen this way, which is the most important part, to actually take the time to upkeep all this, to stay organized, because before you know it, it can get out of hand real quick. So don't miss a single week, don't miss a single day of the 15 minutes if that's what you decided on. Just make it a commitment that you're going to do no matter what. Alright, and that sums up this 3-step process of getting your life organized. Just remember that getting organized is not about having an Instagram perfection distracted looking room or anything like that. It's about you. It's about clearing the room and making way for new stuff. It's about only keeping things that bring you joy, and that's all that matters. And it may look different for different people, so just embrace what that looks like for you, as long as you follow that magic golden rule that it sparks joy, that there's a purpose, and that you will be using it. That's all that matters. If you found value in this video, please hit that like button, and also hit the share button down below and send this video over to a friend who may need it. And let's continue the conversation in the comments below. If you have any apps, tips, programs to share with us that will help us keep our life organized or get it organized, make sure to leave that in the comments down below. And that's all for today. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.